I'm not going to club spin, just in case, but that's massive.
Underrated, unappreciated, and undoubtedly underestimated, these are two drivers you should know about. The driver market is generally dominated by Ping, by TaylorMade, by Callaway. Every now and again, Titleist and Cobra kind of buck the heads a bit, but if you're going to buy a new driver, it's these brands that you will tend to go for. However, if you look a little bit further down the driver pecking order, you can find some amazing golf clubs. So this is the Srixon ZX5, and this is the Mizuno ST-G. Now, a few years ago, the driver market was actually quite well spread out, and companies like Mizuno and Srixon, they really weren't on anybody's radar. If you think about Srixon, their irons, for example, yeah, people understand, stick them in the bag, brilliant. But the drivers, meh. And the reason for that is their drivers were a bit meh. And let's put it this way, a few years ago, paid tour staff, so professionals, sponsored by Mizuno, sponsored by Srixon, were not putting their drivers in the bag. So they literally couldn't pay people to use their drivers. But that has now changed because equipment technology has really started to bunch up at the driver end of the market. Everyone's pushing up against the legal limits. Everybody has access to the similar technologies. And what that means is companies who have different benefits, like Mizuno with feel, are starting to rise up. Guys, if you are new here, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, become part of this community. We are heading towards 500,000 subscribers and would love you to be part of that. Also, stick around for the code word to enter into the monthly giveaways. So the Mizuno ST-G 220, to give it its full title, it has added weights on the bottom for forgiveness. Because in the last few years, Mizuno have been making big hitting drivers, but sometimes the forgiveness hasn't quite been there. So you can increase MOI by pushing these weights back, but what you can also do with this driver if you push them forward is turn it into a low spin monster. It's got the carbon graphite crown, which I think looks good. I think other companies maybe still do a better job of making it blend. It's really good. Honestly, this is one of the best drivers I've hit in a while. As you might expect from a Mizuno driver, feels very nice. It actually doesn't sound that great. It sounds quite high pitched. I prefer a driver that kind of thuds a little bit more. Now the Srixon ZX5, as used by Hideki Matsuyama, is actually quite a simple driver in many respects. It's got this rebound frame. Basically the structure of the club, especially this around the back of the crown here, that's a lot more rigid than other parts of the club. So it flexes. And when it has that flex, that trampoline effect, fires the ball out. There's also quite a lot of options on the shaft sleeve here. I can move this driver flat, which I really do like. It's a 9.5 and I've cranked it down to 7.5. Behind the ball, the carbon composite crown, I actually prefer the look of this over the Mizuno. I actually prefer the sound as well. And I will say, I dare to say that actually I like the feel of the Srixon a little bit more than the Mizuno, which I know a lot of Mizuno mics in the comments are going to be annoyed by that, but and right on cue. Is that in the water? I think it's okay. Like the Mizuno gods strike me down for what I say.
So first on the block, the ZX5 with its rebound frame, its beautiful carbon crown and stunning good looks. So currently I can't really swing it max, but I should be able to get this up around 118, 120. All I want to be seeing is how comparable it is to my normal data. Now that was a little bit toey, a little bit high off the face. Just over 300. That was a better strike. Oh, look at that, beautiful little fade as well. Go on, carry. Not as reboundy off the face as I would hope. Oh, nice little drilly flight. I mean, this drive, the ZX5, this isn't meant to be the low spinning monster. This is meant to be a little bit more forgiving. So think Sim 2 Max. Less adaptability within the club head as mentioned. It's just an all-around solid feeling driver. Onto the ST-G. Again, slightly more busier on top. I do prefer the look of the Srixon, but feel-wise, well, you know, there's a Mizuno, you know the score by now. Oddly enough as well, on the course and in here, the spin rates of this driver are really good to control, like really good to control. 2,000 backspin, carry 300 yards, and hopefully club speed around 118, yeah, 120 on that. Just feels great. Wow. It's very rare that I can actually control the spin on a driver like this. I'm just able to deliver it. Again, not swinging massively fast, but just getting the launch conditions like bang on. Carry 306, club head speed around 120. I wonder if I can get my club head speed to 123.8. It's a bit toey though. 123 club head speed. Bit of slice. Getting decent distance. It was very heely though, so spin went up 2.4. So let's have a look at the data. I got a little bit more carried away with the Mizuno, started to swing that a little bit faster on average. However, both those drivers performed almost exactly as I hoped they would do. A little bit more backspin with the ZX5, which you would expect because it is designed to help get that ball in the air a little bit more. Also, I'm using the Mizuno at 0.5 degrees lower at 7 degrees. Carry distance, 17 more yards on average with the Mizuno, but like I said, I was swinging it a little bit faster, and I was able to control the spin on that Mizuno so much more. And also, I wonder if I stick these weights a little bit more to the front, if that'll just reduce the spin even more. Probably would do, wouldn't it? Shifting the weight further forward. Right, I've shifted the weights forward. See if things happen. I'm not going to club spin, just in case, but that's massive. Listen, 360, it's a little bit below what I would expect of myself, but I'm trying hard. I'm just trying to get better every day. There's little incremental changes like shifting the weight forward, just reduce the spin down even more, 1.7. My club head speed was 1.26.
Oh, new longest of the day. How good's that? You always know it's a good sign where Kieran is just taking some photos. You get what he goes, whoa, 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 whoa. It's a little bit difficult to say who these drivers are actually aimed at. The ST-G 220, I would say it's a low spinning bomber. I think that's more geared towards the better player now. And if you are a better player, I'd give it a go, because I've been very, very surprised about the lack of backspin I've been able to generate. So that big high launch with low spin, poof. The ZX5 is a little bit more forgiving. It certainly spins a bit more. So I would suggest that's aimed at more of a middle handicapper. But I think a lot of manufacturers now, if you think about tailor-made, so the Sim 2 and the Sim 2 Max, you see a number of different golfers, including tour pros, go into the Max and the Sim 2. So one of those is a higher spinning, more forgiving, and yet if you can control your impact, you can control spin. Again, the driver market is in a very odd place at the moment. Everything's just pushed into this tight little pocket. So I'll throw up a little bit of market research here about the different drivers that people use, but please get down into those comments below and let me know the driver that you are currently rocking. And if you were going to buy a new driver, what would you go for? And most of this is based on the Western market. It's a very different story in the Far East, where the Japanese brands tend to be that little bit more dominant. Now it is time for the code word, which is going to be #BigBadBoomer. So we do monthly giveaways. To enter, all you need to do is like the video, be a subscriber, and then get down into those comments. Tell me what driver you're using, but make sure you use the #BigBadBoomer. At the end of every month, we put all the code words into a random draw, pull out a name for a special prize. Make sure you got notifications turned on, because we will reply to your original comment if you are drawn out as the winner. Right guys, huge thank you for watching. What do you think about these drivers? Sub to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you down here next time. 360 Mizuno.